In case you haven't worked it out, I'm not Lindiwe Mazibuko. Lindiwe is at least a decade younger than I, and she has a slightly different skin color. She is more woman than I will ever be. Voluptuous and fabulous. And I hope you won't hold it against me tonight if I'm here instead of her. If you follow politics, you'll know that she's got an incredibly busy week ahead of her, and there's some very important decisions that our particular political party needs to make tonight. This coming week. I asked one of our staff who's here with me tonight what I should say, and he said that I should say that I love it when the gay community comes together. And I really do. But I'd like to say something a little bit more serious, because we do have some serious issues that we sometimes need to talk about. I'd like to challenge you to have an Africa-wide vision. And I say that because in South Africa we have a lot of good things going for us. We have a lot of freedoms. One of my colleagues came out in Parliament, on national television. You try and do that in a place like Uganda as a member of Parliament, and you'll be in serious trouble. And I don't think we appreciate enough what's going on across our borders in other countries in Africa. Please be informed, be aware of what's going on in Uganda and Malawi, and pick a country. When we were at the United Nations Human Rights Commission earlier this year, South Africa put the proposal to support the first ever gay rights resolution at the United Nations around the area of violence against the LGBTI community. 3 African countries came to the debate, the discussion before it. It's called an informal. I was there. 3 out of 50 odd. And they largely voted against us. Hillary Clinton's friends put pressure on Zambia, and then they abstained from the vote. But largely, the Organization of Islamic Community countries voted no, and largely Africa voted no. And that resolution was carried by a vote of 19 to 23, 23 to 19. And it was South Africa's resolution. We changed something internationally. It was the first time the UN has ever had LGBTI rights resolution supported and voted through. The first time ever. And your country, if you're a South African, was the country that did that. But we didn't get support in Africa. We really didn't. Botswana at least pitched up. Ghana at least pitched up. The Egyptian representative pitched up, and when I spoke and said that I'm probably the most openly gay politician in Africa, the Egyptian representative got up and walked out in a huff with his wife. So please be aware of what's going on in the rest of Africa. Don't just fight for gay rights in South Africa. There is a lot bigger picture than that, and I urge you to develop an Africa-wide vision. Don't only focus on what is going on here. I was asked to commit the Democratic Alliance to supporting LGBTI rights, but also not to make too much of a political speech. So that's quite difficult. It's almost an oxymoron, but we are committed to gay rights. In the thing, when we come to hate crimes, a number of my heterosexual colleagues in the party that I represent in Parliament have called on government to do more in terms of corrective rape and hate crimes directed at the LGBTI community. Denise Robinson is an example. She's a member of Parliament for the Democratic Alliance. She's a heterosexual, married woman. And she spoke out in her speech on the Ministry of, it's a very difficult name. They've named it the Ministry of Women, Children and People with Disabilities. And we have some other names for it, which I'm not going to tell you here. Yes, that ministry. And she spoke up. Another of my colleagues is also a heterosexual woman. She lambasted the Home Affairs Department because in Port Elizabeth it's almost impossible for a gay person to get their marriage registered at Home Affairs in PE. She lambasted them and called them in a press statement the Ministry of Homophobic Affairs. And here are heterosexual people. So I think that the Democratic Alliance have been asked to commit us to that. I think we already are. But I think also Parliament is committed to a degree. It's not perfect. We have problem people in Parliament, but we move, I think, in the right direction mostly. It took a bit of fighting to get the government to do something about the people that were arrested in Malawi, but eventually they did. And I think we are moving in the right direction in many of those areas, although it's not perfect. Why should you support Pride marches? Why should you support a gay film festival? You know, it's an expression of who we are, really, and that we have a right to be. For my sins, I assist the Pride Board in Johannesburg for Joburg Pride. And we had a record turnout this year, and I was marching in front of a gay flag with my party political t-shirt on, and the media nearly had hysterics because they tried to cut us out of the photograph. But you need to support those things because it's not just a party. It's not just a party. It's about reminding people that we exist, that we're here, that we have a right to exist, that we have a right to our relationships. And it reminds them that those rights were hard fought for. Another one of my colleagues marched in the very first gay pride march in Johannesburg with a brown paper bag over his head in 1970 something, because you could be arrested. And he was standing next to me, marching with me this year without a brown paper bag over his head. Things have changed, and we need to celebrate that. So we need to remind people about that. And I ask you, please, to do that. And then finally, I just want to say, almost 19 years. Wow. It's opening night. Congratulations. I won't do this, but if I had to ask you, how many of you had a friendship or a relationship that lasted longer than 19 years? I think we might all feel a little awkward. There'll be some. There'll be some. There's a couple putting their hands up. I have a friend who has been in a gay relationship for 33 years in Johannesburg. 33 years. So congratulations, it's opening night, well done, good luck. I hope you're here for another 19 years. I'm going to hand the mic back to you and say, go for it.